Hello, happy Monday, and welcome back to Mrs. DeVita's Art Room. Today we are going to be drawing a snapping turtle. And what you will need for this is, of course, some drawing paper, a pencil, and any other coloring utensils you may have, such as color pencils, markers, pastels, crayons, or if you want watercolor paint, of course. So let's go ahead and get started. So first what we're going to do is we're going to sketch out our turtle's shell and body area. So you want to come in, and we're going to keep these kind of sketchy lines. I don't know if you can see that super well. You're going to come in, get the body kind of sketched out there. Then what we're going to do is we're going to come out here, away from the body a little bit. You're going to draw kind of a medium-sized circle. A medium-sized circle right there, if you guys can see that. So we have a medium-sized circle and an oval. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a little line. That is going to be where the turtle's neck is. And we're going to have another line kind of coming on the bottom here. So we're going to be our turtle's head. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to work on doing our turtle's eyes. So we have our shell, which is round. Bring that in a little bit so you can see it. We have our turtle's head. We have our turtle's neck. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come in and we're going to draw. We're going to kind of bring this neck up a little bit. And we're going to make it kind of a little bit bumpy. So we're going to make it a little bit bumpy. Turtles have very thick, very rigid skin, especially snapping turtles, very bumpy skin. So if you can kind of see that. What we're going to do is we're going to come down. We have kind of a bump that comes up here on the head. And we're going to kind of bring it out. Kind of a bumpy line. And snapping turtles have kind of what's called a beak. Almost like a bird beak, but a little sharp part. This is the alligator snapping turtle that we're doing. So we're going to kind of bring in his mouth like this. You can see that. And then we're going to do the bottom part of the mouth is going to kind of come a little bit back. It's a little bit set back so you can actually see that sharp pointed beak part. And you can kind of adjust as you see fit for the head and all that. We can bring our shell out a little bit. You notice that? All right, so we've got our eye, we've got our nose, our beak. Working on our nostrils here. So we're going to do 2 nostrils on here. And snapping turtles also, like you might want to go ahead and shade in that eye. They also have kind of these rigid scales around their eye area. So kind of just like a little bit of a zigzag. They're not the prettiest creatures on earth, but they are unique. I like that. Look at my turtle's head. All right, maybe lots of lines and wrinkles on the face there. You know, so we're kind of coming down, getting our neck. Now what we're going to work on is we're going to work on getting our shell. We're going to kind of come down right about the back part of the neck here. And we're going to bring our shell down, but we're going to make kind of wavy and rigid looking, just like you're doing. So I'm doing kind of a wavy line there. Again, I'll bring that up so you guys can see it. That wavy, wavy line. And you kind of come back around. And on the back of the shell, we also are going to do that wavy line. All right. So bring it around the back of the shell. We're going to have kind of an edge. This is our edge of our shell right here. So we're doing this so it looks sort of three-dimensional. And again, that is that shell, just like here, if you notice, at the top of the shell and then that little side, so it gives a little bit of three-dimensionality. Okay. He can certainly be a teenage mutant ninja snapping turtle, I guess. You got these little, almost looks like little pebbles or rocks that are on their shell. So you can just do these random little details here. You don't want to get too crazy and busy with it. We just do it, kind of sketch it in, and you can always come back and add detail later on. Now, snapping turtles have pretty large legs. They have pretty long claws on their feet, or their little lipper feet, whatever they may be. Probably using the entirely wrong terminology for turtles, but what we're going to do is we're going to do kind of a curved line when we come in and do his front leg. So get this curved line here, and then what we're going to do is we're going to kind of do another curved line, kind of from that very front part of the shell there. We're going to come out. So we got curved line, curved line. Do you guys see that? All right. And we're going to do his turtle leg. I would say his little turtle leg, but he's not a very little turtle. And then they have these claws. Almost like, reminds me of like a mole or a Wolverine kind of foot, but these long, sharp claws for digging or for fending off predators, I suppose. And you can make a little bit of an hint of that back leg coming in. Very wrinkly, very scaly animal. So you can, as you go along, you can do some scales and some wrinkles there. Back leg. For the back leg, we're just going to see a little bit of it. So what you're going to do for the back leg is we're going to come in, and that's going to be going back this opposite direction. So this one goes forward. This was going back the other way, sort of at a diagonal. So diagonal line goes like this. We got horizontal line, vertical line, diagonal line. Diagonal line goes like this. We're only seeing a little bit of that. And then again, we have those little claws. Okay. So that one's a little less complicated. Just seeing a little bit of that. And then for your tail, we're going to kind of swoop that in. Almost like a backwards letter C or like a J. We're going to come in here. And you know what? I had a request actually by a young man to draw this awesome snapping turtle. And I thought, oh my gosh, a snapping turtle. I have never drawn a snapping turtle in my entire life. And that sounds like a very scary animal to draw. But it was a real challenge for me because it was a little more difficult than some of the other drawings I've been doing. But I enjoyed taking the challenge and drawing something, and it's quite a unique creature, and it certainly has its place despite the fact that they're scary in the environment and the ecosystem, as we all do. So we've got this tail that kind of comes around, if you notice that. And they are called an alligator snapping turtle. I know you can't see that super well, guys, so let's go back here. Sorry. Should I bring it to you? We got our head. And feel free to stop the video at any time, like I said. So we've got our little part of our shell. Now we're going to do our decorative part of our shell, or our ridges here. I don't really necessarily say decorative, but the pattern. So it's almost like we're doing mountains. You see that? Kind of like it's got a pattern. A lot of things in nature have patterns. So we have these little ridges on the shell. And then again, I can come in and kind of make those a little more pronounced and get into a little bit more of the details there as I go along. But just to give you a general idea of how that looks. And we have ourselves an alligator, a snapping turtle, ladies and gentlemen. And if you notice, we put him, they do live in a swampy or underwater environment. A lot of times I saw one actually in my uncle's yard several years back, and he was quite frightening. But rocks, you can make him like he's underwater. He could be crawling around on land in a marshy environment. And again, I apologize if I don't know a whole lot about snapping turtles. I'd be happy to learn a little bit more about them. So they're very fascinating looking creatures. You can draw some rocks. Usually, of course, they always live around where there's water. They can swim quite proficiently, from what I understand, which means quite well. And maybe make a little land. You can make some plants back in there. You could have him underwater if you wanted to. So there you have it, friends. We have ourselves a lovely alligator snapping turtle. Thank you for joining us today, and happy drawing. We'll see you tomorrow.